Jonathan from Coup Dynamics here. Recently, B&R Industrial Automation let us borrow their X20EDS410 industrial Linux edge device for us to test out, and I wanted to show you what we did to get started with it and go all the way from out of the box to deploying your own Node-RED app via Docker container. So here we have the B&R X20EDS410 edge device right on this piece of DIN rail, along with a 24-volt power supply. And notice there's no video output or anything like that, so we're going to configure this using a web interface. So we're going to have to use one of these two Ethernet NICs. So I'm going to plug in to Ethernet 1 here to my home network. So an Ethernet 1 is configured as DHCP by default. So we got power here, and once this boots up, it's going to receive its IP address. And once it does, I'm going to hop over to my laptop. Okay, so let's see if we can ping it by the host name. So we're going to ping BR-X20 Edge, which is the default host name I saw in the help documentation. So the ping looks good. So now we're going to go into the web UI here. So it's HTTP, not HTTPS, and BR-X20 Edge with admin and admin for the default username and password. And it's going to make me change that right off the bat, which is a good idea. Let's go ahead and change that and see what we can see here inside the user interface. Okay, so you've got some system information here, some network information stuff. Let's go to the settings here for networking. And okay, so Ethernet 0 is static by default. So you can actually see the default subnet of 192.168.1. Ethernet 1 is DHCP, like we've talked about, and you can actually bridge these two NICs if you would like, which can be super handy depending on what you're trying to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change the time here as well. So right now we are in Eastern Daylight Time where I am. So I would like to go ahead and have this clock match my PC. So I'm going to point to time.google.com since I'm connected to the internet. If you have some other NTP server that you'd like to use, say locally or maybe on the enterprise level, you can certainly use that. And looks like the time now matches my PC, so we're good there. In terms of accounts, we only have the one user so far, just admin. We can mess with that later. Okay, so if we get an OS update from B&R, we could always upload it here. And it's really nice that SSH is on by default. I'm glad that they did that. We're going to use that later. And lastly, it looks like, yeah, we just got some status information here. So it's pretty much all we're going to do here with the web UI. So next, let's go ahead and connect up to it. I like to use Visual Studio Code when I'm connecting to a remote Linux machine. Terminal's right there. Also, it's really nice to have that Explorer view. That will be really advantageous to us to actually visually be able to click through, see what files are located where and all that. So I'm going to go down here in the bottom left-hand corner and connect via SSH. That's going to install the Remote Explorer extension to VS Code. If you don't have that already, it will do that. And then I'm going to connect right in the window here for admin at BR-X20 Edge. So that's going to connect remotely via SSH. And we're going to input the password for admin. Okay, so now it looks like we are connected via SSH right here. So now I would like to open a file explorer and see what we already have installed here out of the box. So I'm going to open the folder just right at the root here. Okay, so it looks like we're connected here. You can see the Explorer view in the left-hand side there. And now, they also gave us a terminal window, which is really, really handy, like I said. So if we expand the root directory here, let's just poke around and see what we can see here. Anything here look super familiar? Okay, hey, look at that. They already have Docker installed. I'm going to see what Docker version is installed here. So I'm just going to say Docker version. Okay, so 27.5.0. Good to know. All right, so since we're connected to the internet, we can go ahead and pull down the Node-RED Docker image. So my syntax is going to be docker run -it, so that'll give us a terminal, see what's going on here, -p, which is forwarding port 1880 from the Docker container to the local Linux device here, -v, so mount the volume to the Docker container so we can save any changes. And we're going to name this container X20BR Node-RED. And we're going to point it to the Node-RED / node-red image. And so since we don't have it locally installed and we're connected to the internet, it's going to go ahead and pull down the image. And once that's done, it will allow us to open this in our local browser here, which is really cool. It's like port forwarding on port forwarding here. So we're actually pointing to localhost 1880 here. And here you see we've got Node-RED. So now later on, if we go to HTTP BR-X20EDS port 1880, now we've got the Node-RED editor here. So I'm just going to dump a quick little timestamp to a debug here, just as a little quick test. To a terminal window here, and we're going to call this debug node X20 Node-RED output. No, B&R actually, X20, yeah. Even better, and deploy it. So now if I just click the timestamp a few times here, that shows up in my terminal. So I'm going to hop out of VS Code and into PowerShell to show you how we can get back into our terminal session here. So yeah, I'm going to SSH back into our edge device. Okay, we're in. And I'm going to, since Docker is already running, I'm just going to attach the container. Since we set up a debug node, you can see the output from the session here. So if I click this a few more times, you can see output onto our terminal here, our PowerShell terminal. And so, hey, we've got a real Node-RED application running here really quickly. So we just went from a stock B&R X20EDS410 edge device to being able to configure it via the web UI, connect remotely via SSH, run Docker, create a Node-RED app. This device is really intuitive and easy to use. That's one of the reasons why at Kudynamics we have decided to make it the official hardware platform to deploy our IT/OT data bridge solution. There will definitely be more content to come on that topic, so stay tuned and thank you for watching.